Kaylee, does it concern you?
Aaron, I do think it's...
Go ahead.
Aaron, I do think it's important, though, that Mike Flynn Sr. was actually tweeting about something entirely different. It wasn't Pizzagate.
But it was another child sex ring scandal conspiracy theory.
Part of the larger web.
But it was not. But hold on, Nair, let me point out, though, what he was suggesting actually had some basis in truth. There's a man named Jeffrey Epstein who was convicted of child pornography. Bill Clinton took several flights with this individual, and there were some real questions as to why these flights were not on the books, what happened on these flights.
Are we really going to do this?
Yeah,
are we really going to go down these fake news rabbit holes?
They are two separate things.
Again, trying to parse all of this information about this connection with that connection, this is exactly how conspiracies start, and this is exactly the type of logic and reasoning that we need to all be working against and start working with facts. I mean, this is a post-fact universe that we're working in.
Breaking news, new details tonight into the 28-year-old arrested for opening fire inside a Washington, D.C. restaurant because, according to police, he wanted to investigate a fringe conspiracy theory involving Hillary Clinton. Edgar Welch making his first court appearance today. According to police, he entered the restaurant after reading that Clinton and her campaign were running a child sex ring inside. Of course, that story was completely false. The White House attacking these baseless claims today, saying they're having a corrosive effect on America's political debate. Brian Stelter is out front.
Fake news, real gunfire. A North Carolina man arrested in a D.C. pizza shop after brandishing a gun, telling police he was there to investigate a conspiracy theory called Pizzagate.
One of the hosts runs up and is like, "Did you see that guy? You know, he had a big gun."
We actually thought initially that he was a staff member because he was walking straight for that back room. Staff member, kind of looked at me and indicated that this was a gunman.
Edgar Welch appearing in court this afternoon. According to police, Welch said that he had read online that the Comet Ping Pong restaurant was harboring child sex slaves, and that he wanted to see for himself if they were there. The suspect said he was armed to help rescue them. The accusation came from this unhinged story that originated online days before the election, saying that Hillary Clinton and her campaign chairman John Podesta were operating a child sex ring. The lie took root in the digital swamps of Twitter and far right-wing websites.
We're not covering Pizzagate enough, even though we covered it every day, to expose the Satanism and the occult and the code words for pedophilia.
October 30th, a Clinton-hating, Trump-loving Twitterer claimed a police source said Clinton was at the center of a pedophilia ring. Others latched onto this, seemingly hoping it was true, scouring dark corners of the web for possible clues. This is how conspiracy theories are threaded together, lie by lie. Eventually a name stuck, Pizzagate, and the believers started harassing the owner of the pizza place.
We've received many calls, but really they're from around the world, so we didn't expect anyone to come.
On Sunday, the suspect fired his weapon. No one was hurt. With detectives still on the scene in D.C., Pizzagate believers were already claiming that this real development was just part of a cover-up.
The media is claiming that this is because of Pizzagate. This is very dangerous fake news. Anybody claiming that the gunman today at Comet Pizza had anything to do with Pizzagate is lying.
Brian Stelter is with me now, along with Kayleigh McEnany, a conservative columnist, and Nayyera Haq, the former White House senior director under President Obama. Brian, let me just start with you, because that man right there, I mean, it's just take a step to think about what he just said.
Yeah.
The guy who went in with the gun, all right, and discharged it, he said that he went in because of this story, this fake story.
Right.
That guy there that we just heard said that's completely made up. What is it? The gunman was an actor? I mean, what is this?
These Pizzagate believers, some of them today, say this was all a hoax. This incident, this real-life incident at the pizza shop was all made up, trying to cover up the real conspiracy. You know, those people are not going to believe this report. Hopefully, the vast majority of people still on planet Earth can deal with the truth.
I mean, here's the stunning thing, Kayleigh. Michael Flynn Jr., I want to emphasize Jr., that's the new national security, or the nominated national security advisor's son, tweeted on Sunday, I'll read his tweet, "Until Pizzagate proven to be false, it'll remain a story. The left seems to forget Podesta emails and the many, quote, coincidences tied to it." That's pretty stunning, okay? I mean, this story is a lie. It is wrong. How could someone like that come out and tweet this, that this could possibly be true?
Look, I don't think Flynn's son should be tweeting this. He should take down the tweet. But I do want to emphasize this is 2 degrees removed from Donald Trump. This is the son of the National Security Advisor. This didn't come from Michael Flynn himself. It likewise did not come from Donald Trump. I do think this pizza restaurant has a good lawsuit on their hands. But I really do want to emphasize now, though, the extreme fringe right wing has nothing to do with mainstream right wing, just like the 9/11 truthers didn't really have anything to do with the mainstream left wing. So this is a fringe element of the right, just like we have the fringe element of the left.
Okay, so you make a fair point there, but there's this one problem. Sorry, Nayara. Michael Flynn Jr. is, yes, just his father's son, except for not just. He is also his father's chief of staff. He is his top aide. Sorry. He's a government transition email. He is involved. General Flynn himself tweeted back on November 2nd, "You decide. NYPD blows whistle on new Hillary emails, money laundering, sex crimes with children. Must read." What do you say?
Well, this is what you end up having when if you start creating a culture and people who are in leadership positions with large bullhorns and millions of Twitter followers start saying things like the mainstream media is terrible. You can't believe anything you hear on TV or read in newspapers. People start to look for alternative sources of information that frankly aren't backed up by any investigative reporting or any of the principles of ethical journalism. So this is, in that sense, directly connected to some of the Donald Trump and the conspiracy theorists that have surrounded him. I mean, the new White House senior advisor is going to be Steve Bannon, and Breitbart is also part of the alt-right movement. And these conspiracy theories are often featured on that website. And speaking of General Flynn, I understand, I mean, his son has a transition account. That's an official government account, so certainly he should be held accountable. But with the National Security Advisor actually tweeting these types of conspiracy theories, it leads to questioning his judgment and whether or not it was a joke. It should be made clear if he thought it was a joke. But people take this, when people in power say things on Twitter accounts, it gets taken very seriously. So we certainly need to be holding our leaders accountable.
Kayleigh, does it concern you?
Aaron, I do think it's...
Go ahead.
Aaron, I do think it's important, though, that Mike Flynn Sr. was actually tweeting about something entirely different. It wasn't Pizzagate.
But it was another child sex ring scandal conspiracy theory.
Part of the larger web.
But it was not. But hold on, Nayara, let me point out, though, what he was suggesting actually had some basis in truth. There's a man named Jeffrey Epstein who was convicted of child pornography. Bill Clinton took several flights with this individual, and there were some real questions as to why these flights were not on the books, what happened on these flights.
Are we really going to do this? Are we really going to go down these fake news rabbit holes?
They are 2 separate things.
Again, trying to parse all of this information about this connection with that connection, this is exactly how conspiracies start, and this is exactly the type of logic and reasoning that we need to all be working against and start working with facts. I mean, this is a post-fact universe that we're working in.
Kayleigh, should Trump, though, bear some responsibility himself to say, enough? Enough. I don't believe, even in private, to tell these people, stop with this. I don't want to see a tweet like this. I don't want to see these things. They're lies and they're hateful. Doesn't he bear some of that responsibility when some of this is coming from people who are in his inner circle?
You've had the President of the United States.
Sorry, Kayleigh, that was you.
Does President Obama have the responsibility to say, I disavow the 9/11 truthers? No, because he doesn't have to go around disavowing every single conspiracy theory because they're fringe left-wing people. And Nayara, your party has gone around with false narratives of Trump is a racist, Trump is a xenophobe with no basis in truth. So we want to talk about conspiracy theories and outlandish gossipy sort of stories. Your party's responsible for it.
Sure, let's talk about what happened actually just in my neighborhood. So Comet Pizza is only a couple of blocks away from me, so this is very personal. But actually a few blocks in the other direction, you had, 2 weeks ago, a bunch of white supremacists who held an event and said, Heil Trump. Now this is actually in Trump's new backyard, not something he's disavowed that's even happened in his own neighborhood. Usually when there are gun shootings where a president or president-elect is, there is some sort of statement or some kind of denouncement of that or any kind of horrific attack. So we haven't seen that. We haven't seen any time the KKK endorsed him or David Duke or any of these white supremacists were advocating on his behalf. He never said, I disassociate myself from these people. That's so hardly a disconnect to say that by when he has people who are supporting him actively and campaigning for him, if he doesn't disavow them, it seems like they are part of
Let me give the final word here to Brian.
I was going to say about this issue of Twitter, for a man who's so well known for tweeting, who has such a great grasp of the medium, He hasn't even bothered tweeting about Oakland today. Never mind this issue about what happened at Comet Ping Pong. Never mind the broader issue about racism and about hate and harassment. I find it just strange sometimes what he chooses to tweet about. He complained about the media today, but none of these specific issues that are on the table.
All right, thanks very much to all. And next, Trump's controversial phone call to Taiwan. Trump advisors today, one of them now saying, screw him, to China. And the breaking news, a judge declaring a mistrial in the case of a white police officer who shot and killed an unarmed black man, shot him multiple times in the back. We all saw this tape. What did the jury see that was different?